I'm Joe, and this is Sierra Specialty Auto. Today's project is actually going to be 3 projects, small jobs, not big enough for their own video. I'm going to collect them together in what I'm going to call Quick Fixes number 1, and these are, I hope, going to be quick fixes for small problems that need to be taken care of. Before we get to work, I want to mention my new stickers I just got from Uchal Kim up in Monroe, Washington at Woods Creek Workshop. Uchal is a new creator doing a really good job. Has a nice shop with some nice new equipment and some old equipment he's working on. He sends me a note. Hi, Joe. Thanks for spreading the love. Your friend, Uchal. When I sent him my stickers, I included with them a few other channel stickers that I had been generously given by Tom Lipton and Randy Richard. So he got, I can't remember, 3 or 4 besides mine, and he sent a half a dozen, I think, of each of his stickers. So when I send stickers to new creators in the future, I'll include his too, to, as he says, to spread the love. So now, let's get to work. This is a grinder that originally came with a Barrett brake drum lathe. It was used for grinding hard spots out of brake drums in the process of turning them. If the cutter was skipping over a hard spot, you could put this grinder in and touch it up. I modified the mount, or well, I should say I adapted the mount to fit on an old boring bar holder to use as a tool post grinder. Worked just great until the belt broke. The only belt I could find that would fit was from a Dumore grinder, and it's about a 1/2 inch too long. So the top edge of the pulley was rubbing against the guard. And I've used it like that for a long time, but I'm annoyed with that. So I put let's see if I can get this to show. I put the guard on, screwed it down, and I'm on about the 3rd iteration now. I still have some contact now showing up here. The first contact was in here, pretty heavy, and as I cleaned that off to relieve this, this contact area on the other side of the pulley showed up. So now I'm going to go over to the vise with a die grinder and a carbide burr and relieve a little bit more. Now I'll take this over, remount it on the grinder with the screws just a tiny bit loose, turn it on and rock it around a little bit. First I'll put some, I'll mark that up with a Sharpie so I have a reveal if there's contact. If there's still contact, I'll have those points marked. Let's go after it one more time. Third time was the charm. The pulley's clear now, even when I push and pull on the housing. now I can run it much more safely with this guard on at least. The other guard, the grinding wheel guard, I have to leave off because of the way I'm using this machine with this customized Woodruff key seat cutter. I use that to cut snap ring grooves. I've watched several people lately take apart their new chucks from places like Chores and other retailers. I believe those were Chinese-made chucks. This is in terms of use, a new Bison set-true chuck. I bought this probably 10 years ago, but I just started using it regularly in the last few months, so nearly new. And I have it off of the lathe now because I'm going to install my collet closer for a job, and it seems like this might be a good time to take a look in here. I think I'm going to take this apart and see if it is full of grinding dust and debris and chips, the way that some of the ones I've been seeing in other creators' videos have been. So let's dig into this and see how yucky it is. I do expect to see some chips in here because it has been in use, but we'll hope it's not too terribly dirty. There are some chips in this one shoulder here, which is to be expected. I think that's probably an exposed joint on the inside, but it's only in this area here. By the time we get to the contact point out here, from there out, everything looks very clean, certainly adequately lubricated. I'm going to do just a little quick bit of cleanup here, and we'll start going back together with this. I don't need to go any farther. This looks good, and I would have expected it from a Bison chuck. It should be a little better quality control, a little more care taken in assembly. So let me get this cleaned up a bit, and then we'll come back and put it together. Kind of relieved to see that Bison did do a proper job of assembly, of cleaning before assembly, and good lubrication, just as you would expect with a reasonably good quality chuck such as a Bison. This next job is almost not worth recording, but the camera's already set up and it seems to fall within the scope of this video, so let's go ahead and show this. I bought one of these cheap imported spider handles, I believe they're called, for one of my Kurt Vices. It comes with just right at 7/16 diameter handles. When I got it, they were threaded 10 millimeter. I can't remember whether it was a coarse or a fine pitch on the end that goes into the hub. Outboard end is threaded 10 millimeter by 1, which is a fine thread. Two of the handles almost immediately broke off right here at the root of the 10 millimeter thread. So I threaded them to 7/16 14, drilled and tapped the hub to 7/16 14. But then this handle broke not too long after that. So I've got some better material. I think this steel that these rods are made out of is just garbage. So I got some 4140 steel. This is good stuff. This is the kind of stuff that this hardware is usually made out of. So I'm going to thread 7/16 14 on one end, 10 millimeter by 1 on the other end. Got my dies set up. Let's go to the lathe and get to work. First thing to do is face and chamfer all ends, both ends of all three. Now I'm going to turn one end of each shaft for about 7/16 of an inch down to thread size for 10 millimeter, which is going to be, in my case, I'm going to go about 388 diameter for the 10 millimeter, and the other end I'll go 5 thousandths under 7/16, which is about 432. That'll be a little bit deeper, about 3/4 of an inch. Looks like I'm going to need, to make it easy, let's call it 1.5 inches sticking out to allow the tap handle to, or the die handle to guide itself, 1.5 inches or more. I'm going to back that up with the flat nose of the cone center there to keep that going straight. The jaws of the die are right at 1/2 inch, so I want about 1/4 sticking out. That fit pretty well. Well, there's the finished job. Back together, tightened up nicely. I will say this hub is not any better metal than these were. And by the way, I'm not even putting these in the archive. I'm going to throw them in the garbage because they're scrap metal. And that hub is, it's probably sintered metal, and it's soft. If it wasn't massive in proportion to the job it's doing, it would be a failure point too. So if you need to do serious work with a spider handle on your Kurt Weiss, don't buy the cheap one off of Amazon. Buy the good one from MSC or another reputable supplier. Pay the money and get the good tool. This is marginal. I'm going to keep using it, but if I have any more trouble with it, I'm going to replace it with a better one. Those jobs went pretty well. I'm happy to have them taken care of. Now I can move on to some more important things. I want to thank you for stopping by the shop and watching while I took care of these little projects. I hope you'll comment, subscribe if you haven't already. Wouldn't mind getting a thumbs up. Come back and visit the shop again. Thank you for watching.